starting, and we're live. I'm a little awkward
Hello.
right now because I don't know what to do, but it's okay. First podcast ever. Welcome everybody. Uh, I don't know what I'm going to call this or if this is going to be an ongoing thing, but I have my first guest who has agreed to come on the podcast. This everybody. I'm going to actually have you introduce yourself, but this is my friend Steven. He's in Canada.
Hello. My name is Steven. Um, yes, I've been friends with Sebastian for I don't know, like has it been like 2 years? I believe it was two
It's
years.
it's been a, it's been a, yeah, it's been
Been
two
about two
years.
years.
I can't tell if it's longer because dude, COVID this year is like flown by so quick. I don't even know if this year counts. Can we just undo it?
Right. It's just a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I met Sebastian through well, like basically family friends, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all the pretty, you know, great surprise.
Yeah, and funny thing is, we both happen to be like pretty interested in very similar things, and we're even going down the same line of work, which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here as well and ask you questions and pick your brain because
Mhm.
it feels like
Yeah.
not just going into marketing, but like trying to be a dude with a camera in order and build their career. It's a
Yeah.
lonely world, dude. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have a lot. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
don't. I certainly don't have a lot of friends that are doing this. You were definitely like the only one, if not like
Yeah.
the only one I
Yeah.
talked to. You
That's
know. Yeah, and that's kind of mostly the main topic we'll be talking about today is just two dudes with cameras and trying to build their career and just seeing where it goes. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yes,
potential and a
sir.
lot of upside with the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, you recently just got a job uh, as a videographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah. Could you? I mean, if you don't mind, if you don't want,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So,
because I haven't gotten a job yet in the field in marketing. Period. So I'm just like really excited to see. But you haven't. You will start there this Monday, correct?
yeah. I start Monday. The thing is, like, this is not the only company I worked with that I had to do video photography and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you want me to elaborate on,
Yeah.
like,
Okay. Yeah. We could talk
yeah,
about just general experience. Like, who were you when you first got a
yeah.
camera?
So, okay. So, first of all, in terms of my education, right? Graduated. I know for the U.S., like college and university, like, do you guys distinguish the two, or it depends which state?
Could you say that one more time?
So, like college and university, like for us, there's like college, which is usually like a 3 year program, and university, which is more like a 4 year like degree program.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, yes,
Do you
yes.
guys distinguish the two, or like is
Yes.
it separated
I
like
think
that?
typically we'll call them like uni or university. I think everyone understands is a 4 year program.
Right.
However, they're synonymous with college. However, if you go to community college, oftentimes you only are limited to with a 2 year program.
All right. Right. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty similar. Yeah. So I graduated with a marketing diploma first, and then I went to university for 2 years for my undergrad, which I got my marketing BBA. The thing is, like, when I first got my job, my first marketing job, there was nothing to do with photography, nothing with video, nothing like that. I was doing SEO for a pretty big agency, but I'm not going to name any company, a specific company.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a bit like a sweatshop, like it's
Just kind
shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, it's like like I love it there because I got to learn skills that I wouldn't have learned in school, first of all, right? And the
mm-hmm.
thing is, like, in terms of the environment, we have a lot of people in a very small office, and you're literally shoulder to shoulder. But the thing is, like, I learned SEO there, a search engine optimization, which I'll elaborate on later if you want to talk about it. But so I learned that first. In terms of video and photography, I did that during university. I had an interest in doing photography first, but in terms of video as a whole, I actually did it since I was like grade 7. So I'm
Mm.
26 now. I did it back in '07 when you had school projects. I don't know if you had
Yeah.
like random school
Videos
projects where
were
you had to
always the
record
first thing you
video.
went to, huh? Like you
Yeah,
could have
I
done a
always like,
slideshow, but you were like video.
yeah, video, or like if it wasn't a sign, if that was the assignment itself. Like I always took initiative to like kind of direct everything and like edit everything. I was always like, yo, I got to do this because it's really fun to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get really serious in like, I guess the first time I picked up a DSLR really was, I don't know, in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing. I took my sister's DSLR when she wasn't home.
Mm-hmm.
And I took pictures of my fish and stuff. I didn't know what to do because, just leave it on auto and hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about specs or anything like that. So, but yeah, from there, I started in university. I picked up my first DSLR. I was a T5i, and I only actually just recently sold it. So I had it for about like 3 to 4 years or something, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I've had that camera for a long, long time. And again, I started with photography because it felt like, in terms of video, it was like very difficult to use,
Yeah.
and I didn't think it was capable at all until like as of for the past year, try to like push the limits, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen your
So
videos, man. You really have. Like, it's just the videos I've seen out of you and like other people who have, who like your friend who's used also a T5.
yeah,
Like I would have never guessed came from it, and it just really makes you realize like gear doesn't really matter
exactly.
because nobody's thinking about pushing it to the limits. They just be like, it can't do it, so I'm not going to use this. I want to buy the next thing.
Right,
They don't,
right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Because at first I was like, ah, man, I'm limited to a T5i. I want a full frame, blah, blah, blah. And then I watched my friend's video, right? Shout out to Emiko. He started out with the T5i as well. So we were using it at the same time, but he was producing like incredible work because he was just that good in video editing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So was that post production and stuff. So in terms of work, so after that agency, I hopped onto a different company for a year. And what they did was network switches and monitor mounts. And the thing was, I was in charge of like random like skills. I guess like did Amazon stuff for them, did product photography and video and SEO, and it's just random marketing stuff, because
Yeah.
marketing itself is like an umbrella term for little things under that, right?
Right.
And then I traveled to Asia for half a year, came back, and then I ended up getting another job. I worked for only a month because of family emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And with that job as well, it was marketing, but they were also looking for a photographer and video. The thing is, like, um, it is always possible to find companies like that because, especially small companies, first of all, because I've never worked for a bigger company. Like, it's always has been like small to medium companies. And the thing is, like, they're also looking to save money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you're able to leverage that and try to negotiate your salary, I think that's like one of the best things you can do as someone starting off. Because I do understand like it is very difficult for a student, like a newly grad student, to put their foot in the door, right?
Yeah. It is
So
very difficult. I mean,
yeah.
you and I both been in that position. Some could say I'm still in this position.
Well, at least you have a job, right? The thing is
Yeah,
like,
it's still
yeah,
I'm
you got
still
a
making
job, so
money,
that's good.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just but not, yeah, it's just but yeah, it's so wait, hold on, I'm gonna let you finish real quick uh before I start going into tangents. But yes, you're at the smaller company doing the monitor arms, went to Asia, came back, worked at another company for a short term, and then after that went to a different job.
Right. That was like I literally just resigned yesterday. The thing was I gave my boss the 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do well, they're marketing agencies, so I was in charge of the SEO and paid ads. But because it was a small company, they had me do other stuff like content writing and stuff like that, just to kind of save as much money as it can,
Yeah, they want to
kind of
milk
deal.
you.
Those are things that you should expect for like a startup or a small company in general.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, right? The
Mm-hmm.
thing was, I wasn't doing video or photography for her because, well, first of all, she didn't even know I was a photographer or videographer, which is kind of funny because it was on my portfolio. So
Mm-hmm.
clearly she didn't see it. Um, but yeah, so I worked there for literally 2 months, and my boss still loves me. She still she probably will contact me in the future and stuff for like future work, or
Mm-hmm.
if she needs any help and stuff.
Yeah.
But I got a new offer from a company called CKC, and the thing is, I start Monday,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't tell you anything about them
Yeah.
except I'll be making content, and they're looking for a photographer and videographer, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I know so far about the job, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's very funny, you know. I think like especially, you know, the fact that fresh grads should be leveraging the fact that you know, they don't have a lot of experience, so they should go look for smaller companies in order to get that experience, right? Because I find that a lot of students coming out of school nowadays, right, they are stuck in this cycle, right, where they need
Mm-hmm.
experience to get
Right.
experience, and it's
Right.
just like, but nobody will give you experience because no one wants to hire you because you don't have any, right? Sure,
Right.
if you get a couple internships under your belt, it looks a little better, but you're no
Yeah.
longer competing against other college students, right? There are now people that
Right.
are have been working for a few years longer than you that you're also competing against. It's tough out there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Um,
sure. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm. Um, like, yeah, about that, like, in terms of it being very difficult and stuff. I think like the easier thing, or the thing that you should do as, I guess, as a marketer, and this is just my experience, is you have to really differentiate yourself from your other like from other graduates that you graduated with or
mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Because everybody has the same degree. Like to me, when I was applying jobs, like to be honest, I use LinkedIn, I use Indeed, but
Mm-hmm.
I more or less majority of my job offerings were off of Indeed. And like if you think of Indeed as kind of like your Craigslist or your
Yeah, it's a
TV,
little
right?
sketchy.
As
I would say it's
it's a
yeah,
little sketchy, yeah. But you know, that's how I found the new company I'm working for. And they're not like a
yeah,
small company either. Like they're not super small, but I would say like
bigger than this the
I would
ones you
say
worked for
small to
before.
medium. Sorry, what's that?
Bigger than the ones you worked for before.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. The thing is like um some of these companies don't know where to apply, or they're not very well versed in let's say LinkedIn.
yeah.
You
So,
know, but I've applied to like hundreds, literally hundreds of jobs on LinkedIn, but I didn't get any replies back, and it's
yeah,
just the
jeez,
reality of things. And like you said, you got to get your foot in the door, and that first marketing job of learning SEO was that foot in the door, because it's a very technical skill that they don't they kind of like uh, kind of scratch the surface of what SEO is, but you don't know what it is. People end up forgetting what it is, right?
yeah. They just know. Does that mean I buy ads on Google or, you know what I mean? Those are the kind of types
Yeah,
that you're oftentimes, you know, working for. Um, but
right.
see, the thing is, how do you differentiate yourself though? Because you know what I mean. In order to make yourself the most appealing, oftentimes you do have to write like, you know, I build websites, I make videos, I take
Right.
pictures, I also do SEO, and I do
Yeah.
campaigns. Like, and then
Right.
realistically, like I think it's hard for them as even as hiring managers to believe you, especially when each
Yeah.
one of these things is a discipline on their own. Like I do content marketing, I do, you know what I mean, content strategy, like brand strategy,
Yeah.
all the things we
No,
learned in
I
school.
agree. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is quite difficult because it's funny. It was actually this week I was helping the company that I just resigned from
Hmm.
with the hiring process, right? And the thing is like um, because my boss didn't know too much about the specifics, the technical skills needed to learn, let's say like paid ads or SEO,
Hmm.
that I was kind of helping her with the interviewing process, and it was
Ah,
very difficult.
yeah.
Right, I had to help her ask like a very specific question, like someone could. A lot of people, right? I would say over like 60% of the people I've talked to say, yeah, I do SEO, right? They're
Hmm.
like, yeah, I do SEO. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, what's SEO to you? It's like, well, I gotta rank my page on Google. It's like, okay, then what other specific tools do you use? Like, I would say 90% of the people say I use SEMrush. I'm like, okay, then how do you use it? And what do you do in the back end of your website? What do you do? You know, X, Y, Z. Like, it's
Hmm.
very specific. It's not something where you could just Google real ironically Google really quickly and just like learn it within 30 minutes. Like
Yeah.
even then, right? It's not like I'm a super pro in SEO, but I do know a thing or two, and I've ranked websites in the past and stuff,
Right.
and paid like you can learn on your own, right?
Hmm.
But there's some people who just learn surface level stuff and try to like
Play it
apply
off.
for that job, and the like really, it's hard to tell whether an employee is really any good until you start putting them in the workforce, in the job, right? That they
Right.
do.
So do you think because of that, companies should take more risks, right? Because that's not sustainable to do financially, right?
Yeah.
In order to keep hiring and firing.
No, you're right. Yeah. Because to be quite honest, like a boss told me the reason why she hired me. Well, first of all, right?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't even want to hire me in the first place because
Mm.
she said in comparison to other people, my resume was a bit weaker. And the only thing that kind of really like kind of caught her eye was my GPA for one
So it
in
does
in
matter.
college. It does seem to matter to her at
Yeah.
least, but I guess different employers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different standards. But to her, that caught her eye. I put SEO in it. The thing is, like, how do you prove it, right? And so, to be honest, I think if she really looked at my portfolio, that would have helped a lot. I think that's how I secured my recent job,
Mm-hmm.
is because they didn't even look at my portfolio. So I had to ask them, as far as I remember. I think it was more along the lines of, oh, how else, like my job title is basically doing making content, right? And
Mm-hmm.
content could be written or it could be photos, it can be like media in general, right?
Yeah.
So the interviewer was asking me, how do I create other content? So I asked like, oh, like me like photography or video, and he's like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, perfect. This thing was in the job description. It wasn't very specific, like, oh, I had to do photos or video or whatever. It was very like loose. It wasn't too specific. So I was like, oh, perfect. Actually, it really depends because in my case or in their case, it's like the job is about pedigree dogs,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm like, okay, then how do I create that content? Well, it really depends on what the objective is. If the objective is to look at the breed standard and how a specific dog is supposed to look, then I'll need to take very like detailed picture of the dog on the side, like
Right.
the side profile of the dog, and making sure that it's positioned correctly. Like these are little things that are very important.
Yeah,
So I just
especially
brought
for
up like, oh,
those
I
who
have,
care about them, right? The people who are in
yeah,
really into the pedigree stuff. You can't just take
yeah,
lackluster
yeah,
general like photos from 50 feet away, right? They need to know like this is exact weight,
exactly,
size,
yeah,
coat, like everything's bred to perfection.
right. Yeah, yeah. Like, how do you portray this information? And you ask like, oh, how do you get in? Like, how do you get experience without getting a job or getting that offer or
Mm-hmm.
people giving you the opportunity? You have to make your own opportunities, and that's what I remember hearing in college. One of this guest speaker told us like, hey, like don't wait for opportunities. You got to create your own opportunities, and that's what I did. Is I breed fish. And because of that, I brought that up in the interview, and they're like, "Oh, you breed fish? I don't know what kind of fish." I was like, "I breed bettas for shows and stuff, and I actually take pictures for shows." And so they were very intrigued. They're like, "Oh, this is like very rare. Like they haven't heard of anybody doing that here, like
Yeah,
here
it's a
in
match
Canada."
made.
So that kind of leveraged me. That's how you
Yeah.
differentiate yourself because the hobby is very unusual to
Mm-hmm.
majority of the people
Yeah,
here.
dude. It is. That's so like when I found out you did, and you just have these like garbage, trash cans full of water in your living like upstairs. I was just like, oh, this guy's really in it. Like, holy,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
bred a lot of fish, dude, or a lot of bettas.
yeah.
Like,
And I
not just one or two. You know what I mean?
have hundreds in the basement right
And the
now.
basement, 2 floors.
Yeah,
Oh, did you move them all
yeah,
down
pretty
there?
much. Yeah, there. I actually built three more racks. They're
Jesus.
huge, and yeah, and they're.
Were you
I
still doing
flooded it
shrimps
three
too, or
days
no?
ago. So shrimps, yeah, I actually added in more shrimps and more expensive shrimps. Actually, like believe it or not, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're freaking expensive, but yeah.
I mean, you're breeding the shrimps to sell though, right?
Yeah, it's for both because the thing is like with breeding bettas, it requires so much work. The thing is like there isn't a lot of money in it unless if you import and resell it. Like if I want to make money, I would have gone that route and
Mm-hmm.
sold like different kinds and stuff. But
Right.
I'm more on
The
the
more
long
exotic
lines of
ones.
I want to breed for show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and shrimps is they're hard to set up, but it's easier to maintain. And to me, shrimps are like one of those things where I don't have to put too much work in it, and you get to see like the fruit of your labor
Yeah.
without stressing out too much.
Yeah. So they pretty much take care of themselves then.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't really change the water as often as opposed to
Yeah,
bettas where I have to change the water every 2 to 3 days.
right. Because they'll filter feed the
And
water. No. Well, I guess you'd still have to change it, but
well, 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 it's not that. It's they're so tiny, right? They're like probably the size of like this part of my
like your
pinky,
fingernail. Yeah.
and they don't produce too much waste. So,
Ah, I
so the
see.
plants kind of take care of it. But in terms of bettas, you have hundreds, right? And if you don't have
Yeah,
enough plants to take care of the bio load, then
that's
yeah.
true. Man, today I learned.
Today you learned. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's so. Yeah, that's dude. You're a match made in heaven for the place you're working at now. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I also breed,
Yeah.
and then they're
It
like,
was just
huh?
perfect. Yeah. I'm like, you didn't see my portfolio? He's like, no, we didn't see it. Can you send the link? I was like, yeah, it's this. And then they got to see all my like written work and my
Yeah.
videography and photography. And they're like, okay, you know.
No, it's really annoying now. I now didn't realize that you've had two people now tell you that they didn't check they probably didn't check your portfolio. One of them probably didn't even check your resume all the way.
Yeah. Perhaps thing is, I don't recall putting it in my like I didn't put, hey, check out my portfolio in my cover letter, which I
Hmm.
maybe should have, or if I didn't, or if I did, then it's in like the header,
Yeah.
right?
Because yeah, I didn't realize that like that. I mean, it's only anecdotal, right? It's only two cases of this actually happening. I have
Right.
had experiences where people do check, but it seems pretty common for at least the people
Yeah.
who aren't marketing people to not check your portfolio.
Yeah. Like what I don't know. It's a good question because the thing is, like, even for me, I was helping the boss hire people, and you have your own work. Well, at least I had my own work, and then I had to go through resumes, and you don't want
Hmm.
to click in every single like
Right. You don't want to give it
link
all
out there.
away.
So I kind of
Yeah.
understand in a certain degree, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Takes a lot of work because you got to read through all that text, and then you got to click through it.
Yeah. Or maybe I guess we
You
could
know.
change it up by like putting it at the top. You let them know in the
Yeah.
beginning, because nowadays with Corona, I think it's definitely changing. Obviously, how we all work, right? But
Yeah.
also, I think how
Yeah.
we'll apply. Online
Mhm.
applying is huge, and interviewing now. I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
going to be sending PDF, resumes, and you're going to be doing cover letters, why not drop a link at the beginning?
No, that's true.
Um,
Yeah. Maybe you just got to change it up.
but yeah, I guess moving on from like looking for work, what do you think about? I guess instead of being a generalist, right, becoming a specialist. Because honestly, I understand it to be becoming a specialist is how you maximize your career, right? If you're going to be just
Yeah.
kind of good at everything or okay at everything, you'll never get
Right.
very far.
Yeah. That's exactly what I think. That's what I'm struggling with currently. Really, is
Yeah.
just posting videos on YouTube and seeing what kind of like sticks. The thing is, like, I have so many ideas, so many literally random
Hmm.
hobbies where like, oh, should you kind of like divide it in different channels, for example?
Yeah.
There's only so much time you have in a day, and how do you maximize that time, right? And the fact that like I get to do like for my new job is the SEO and photography and videography. Will I be burnt out to do my
Hmm.
own personal stuff too? Those are questions I ask myself as well.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it'll be like your first like marketing agency job, right? When you're working at that place with the monitor arms and stuff, or like no, not that one, or whichever one that was the not so savory one that really milked you for your skills, right? Like I've heard
Yeah.
from what I've heard, working at an agency, like a big agency, they will work you hard. Like one
Yes.
every year of experience you get from there is more like three because of how
Yes.
how
Yes. I
fast.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. This was the issue, right?
Hmm.
Because before I decided to leave, I was like, okay, well, I have the dream of back in high school. I really wanted to become a vet. I was studying towards it. I worked at a vet hospital for a couple of months for
Hmm.
co-op just to see how things are, and I decided no, I don't think it's as stable. I'm going to go towards business. So I said, one day, if I get a job that's related to animals and marketing, and I
That's
was
that's
like,
the
this is
ticket.
perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the thing was, objectively, they were paying more than my last job. And the thing was like, I don't know. It's a bit tricky, right, to pick one or the other and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And like you said, the agency experience is very valuable. That one year shows that, hey, I'm juggling several clients at once, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge deal as opposed to like one company and doing just, you know,
Right.
just that, right? Just handling one company kind of thing. So yeah, I totally understand, because the thing was, that was the debate I had with my coworker, because he's like, well, eventually you will get a manager position.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to leaving, and when I told the boss, she said, well, I could offer you a manager position, right? And the thing was, um, the pay wasn't, it didn't match, but it was not that far off either.
Mm-hmm.
If you grow with the company as well, your salary could go up. So it was like that kind of like struggle between what do you
Right.
choose, right? And then yeah, again, the whole experience, like if you're a manager and you work for an agency and you even have just 1 year, it's a huge leverage if you want to stick
Yeah.
with marketing and stuff, right?
Right. But it is really difficult because, if you can chase dollars, but you ultimately won't be
Right.
happy,
Exactly.
versus,
Exactly.
taking less, but then we're doing what you ultimately wanted to do. So,
Yeah, yeah. So there's that balance, because I was like, well, for one, I get to work at home.
mm-hmm.
It's a bigger company, it's a bit more stable. You know what you're getting into, and well, the thing is, I can't talk too much about like the new company, because the
Yeah.
thing is, I'm not in it. But
Right.
as
Right.
far as I know, almost every single friend I've talked to that work for a big company, they're kind of stressed out. So,
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah.
well, but luckily, the job that I'm working for, like, I think it's a team of 40 to 50 people.
Yeah. All in
Yeah.
marketing?
So, the what do you call it? The pedigree,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Oh, the, the,
dog
the whole
pedigree
company
company
is 40.
is about, yeah. So I was pretty surprised, like, wow, you guys are running quite a bit, and
Yeah.
your team, it's not too small, because the last company I worked for, it's like about like 5 to 8 people or whatever,
Yeah.
right,
Almost
on
10x
and off.
in
And
size.
yeah, compared to that, it's like a huge jump, I guess. Like the first marketing job I got, the room was packed. Like it was so many people that it was hard to count.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were literally shoulder to shoulder around the room. So I would say at least 50 people were in there,
Yeah.
all in one room, right?
Just
It's
all, yeah,
crazy. It
just
was
all
insane,
working.
yeah. All working, man. And the thing was, like, we're being paid minimum wage and stuff. And the thing was, I didn't mind, right? Because this is just skill set. The thing is, like you said, you got to balance between, is this skill set going to help you and leverage? And it did. And without that skill set, um, then I wouldn't have gotten the jobs that I would have currently, to be honest, right? Because I am going
Mhm.
to be doing SEO for this new company as well. So sometimes you just got to sacrifice a little to get something. It's like an investment.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, especially early on. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, let's shift gears. You mentioned YouTube.
Yeah.
You're kind of seeing what sticks. I think I'm
Right.
also similarly down that line, right? I'm just posting stuff, like just to kind of
Right.
taste, right? Like I don't know what I want to be because like everyone says you got to niche or niche down into like just
Right.
one or two categories, and you just got to be that person. Like when you think of that
Right.
word, you got to be that person, right? That
Yeah.
comes to their head. But at the
Like,
same time, if you don't know, you just like you got a lot of people are trying stuff. That's why you see a lot of like people who are just starting out making YouTube videos. First, they start off
mm,
with like vlogs, then they'll do gaming,
yeah.
and then they'll do this or that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
It's
seeing
always
what
possible
sticks.
to change. Yeah.
But yeah, it is it's always possible. It doesn't even matter if you're big or you're not. You can always pivot.
Yeah.
I think that's what something people don't realize. But let's say something did stick. Would you plan to make YouTube a career for yourself?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
what
I
would it
mean, that
take?
that was, what would it take? Like, what do you mean? Like,
Like, is there a number? Like, do you like, hey,
uh,
I got 1,000 subscribers, I'm going all in, or like, I got 500K views, I'm going all in.
you know
Like,
what? That's a good question. Because the thing is, like, even I don't know, like, backtrack a bit, like, but like detailing cars, for example. For me,
mm-hmm,
I was thinking about that. Oh, do I want to go full in because I can make more than in my current job or whatever that is, right?
mm-hmm,
But then realistically, I'm like, well, it's tough labor,
yeah,
and yeah, and so there's that balance too. And then I'm like, well, you know what? In terms of in terms of side stuff, I don't want to go full in
Yeah.
I want to have some sort of stable income first.
Yeah.
And this is a general thing. Like I want a stable income and then do my side thing
Yeah.
until it kind of bottlenecks a bit. And then I'm like, do I see a vision with it? And like, yeah, if yes, then I'll go full in, right?
Yeah. 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 So,
So
so
I do
let's just
plan to do
pause for
video. Yeah.
sorry to cut you off there, but let's pause for a bit. For everyone that doesn't know, Steven also has his own detailing side hustle that he'll do when it's on season, right? So he'll detail cars, everything, top to bottom. I've watched your Instagram. I've seen the work you've done. You're no joke, dude. Like the level of detail that you go in for the people that come to you is insane, dude.
Yeah.
And you just keep upgrading stuff over time because you want to put out the best stuff. You want, like, whether it be like EVs or gas cars, you're going to be putting out the best level detail that you can.
Yeah, right. It's like the reinvestment mentality, right? The thing is, like, I don't want to just, you see the fruit of your labor and you just take it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, can you reinvest it into something bigger? Because maybe there is something bigger. And like, this is not for everyone, right?
Yeah.
The mentality of wanting to constantly grow and settling or whatever, right? Like, some people are fine with how their circumstances are, and that's perfectly fine if you're comfortable with it. But like people like us, for example, we really we see more than just,
we just want to see what's over the hill, just to see.
Yeah. So like in terms of like detailing cars, I started off with like cleaning my own car, and I thought, hey, you know what? Like, I just got back from Asia. I don't got a job. You know, I'm struggling out here, you know. And when you're facing with these adversities, you're like, you gotta, if you really want money, you gotta be creative. If you really want something in general, you gotta go, right? And you'll find a way. And I've actually taught one of my friends how to detail, and now he's using that as a side business, right? Yeah. So it's very possible. It's always, money is always out there.
Yeah. Right? And a lot of people, because I think the biggest thing people struggle with is like, what do I do? But for you, it seems to come naturally, right? With the bettas, with the shrimp, you're just like, I just like to do this. Let me see if I can make it sustainable first, like, so it doesn't come out of my own pocket. Then same thing with detailing. Like, you picked up all of this knowledge. Like, if you asked me how I would detail a car, I was just gonna show it with a vacuum, dude. Like, not a water vac either, just a regular vac.
I mean, vacuum. That's fine. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, it's not like I knew everything to begin with, right?
You experimented on yourself, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, even paid ads, when I got that job 2 months ago, I wasn't a pro in paid ads. I literally, I was taught how to do paid ads. I've ran a couple campaigns for the last company before I went to Asia. I only ran it for about a couple of months, and it ran okay, right? But when I joined the agency, the marketing agency that worked for 2 months, she kind of knew I wasn't a pro, but I was always willing to learn. In some cases, companies are perfectly fine for you to use them as like a sandbox, as a playground or whatever, right? To kind of learn. The thing is, don't waste their time, and show that you're not just here for the for the money, you know, because you gotta give them value as well, right? Like, they're offering you a way to learn, and you're kind of an investment to them end of the day. Right.
Ooh, my bad.
So, but well, you asked me with, is there a number or whatever, right? It really depends, right? If I do see, like, right now, what I'm trying to do is, well, I got a stable income. Well, it's coming, hopefully. Hopefully this new job pans out. If not, I could, the boss said I could always go back, which is very nice of her, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, stable income first, and then I could plan around with, how much can I spend? What disposable income do I have? Right? So those are like those little questions I ask myself before like jumping in. And then I really want to do, well, actually, sometime this week I'm going to be doing a few videos or photography for my friend's, it's not his product, but he imports them. So he wants me to take videos or pictures for his website and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm doing one for like physiotherapy and stuff like that. But these are free videos I want to do in order to, again, experiment with this new camera I'm actually using right now.
So, I've actually, I've picked up, I guess there's this guy on YouTube. His name is, his channel name is Flash Film Academy, right? Where basically he just talks only about the business side of making videos for money, right?
Right.
A lot of people, they just tell you how to edit, how to shoot, what lens, what light, right?
Right.
But they don't tell you how to run the business, how you should like have contracts, and how you should have, you should send proposals and budgets, and like don't just make numbers up. Like tell them exactly what you're doing, right? And all that other stuff. But the biggest thing that you talked about was beta testing clients, meaning, traditionally people think, oh, I should just work for free to get experience.
Mm-hmm.
What you should really be doing is that you should use them as your beta clients, meaning what you're going in for is not just if you go into like a free job or a free gig and the only thing you come out with is pictures for your portfolio or videos for your portfolio, you did it wrong, right? That should not be the only thing you're getting out of it if it's for free. Mostly being is because it's an opportunity for you to ask them like, hey, what are your problems? Like, why did you ask me to do this for you? Like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for like a package for someone to come show up every month and pay you like $500 to take all of the pictures of your products and all the videos? You know what I mean? How much would you pay for that? You know what I mean? You ask them these questions as clients, and then you develop a product in your mind so they can take this product like, hey, I will sell you, like, I'll come once a month, take like 100 pictures for you for $500, right? And then you have content for the month. Right. And then you take that product, bring it to another business, do the same thing for them. Now you have another hustle. But you should not be leaving with just content.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you got to learn from it too, right? It's again, that beta testing mentality of it's kind of like a test market, and you're trying to tweak your services or your offering. It's same as like car detailing. Right. Mm-hmm. To be quite honest, when I first started, all I did was I'll vacuum your car and I'll clean the deep interior. And I started doing washes and stuff like that. I'll wash your car, I'll apply a wax. And then as of this year, I started doing paint correction. So you remove the swirls and I'm putting ceramic coating. So that's like just slowly growing higher up. And who's willing to pay and how much are they willing to pay?
These are all things that you add on that you find out that people wanted over time.
Right.
Like they're like, hey, thanks for detailing my car, but I actually had this ugly paint, it's missing some paint here. Can you fix that too? Like you didn't even think about doing that.
Right.
Until they asked.
Yeah.
But great opportunity if you guys want to go work for free route, but you should develop these questions use them as your beta clients. But I want to go back to the YouTube thing because YouTube is really intriguing me a lot. Like I think potential-wise, unlimited potential, right? But the risk, super high, like super high risk.
Super high, yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, like
that. Yeah, we're both starting around. Well, we're starting around the same time, I guess, in terms of YouTube. Like, I've done YouTube since like 2007, and it's unrelated. I posted random videos. I used to do martial arts.
Yeah, because you just like sharing stuff. You know what I mean? Like you love. Like I came from the same place. Like I every time there was a school project, if the video option was available, I would always go, dude, let's make a video. You know what I mean? I just loved.
Yeah.
It was entertaining to be behind the camera, to be in front of the camera, to just do it. With my friends or whoever, classmates. It was always great to share. And
for sure.
Yeah, similarly, I didn't actually hold my first camera until it was like my cousin's DSLR, but it was only to take pictures. I was like, oh, this is what a camera feels like. I think I was like maybe like 15, 16. But with YouTube, right? It's the I don't know what we were talking about before. I'm kind of lost, but I'm just gonna keep going.
I think you asked me what's my number.
Yes.
Before I jump ship, full time.
It's I think metrics like that is hard to judge too, because you will not make a full-time income with 1,000 subscribers or 1 million views.
Right, definitely not.
Yeah,
because it's like some people would say subscriber count doesn't even matter anymore. It's more like how many views you could get, what kind of content you can get. That kind of factors into how much money per view or whatever like that. Those are just the little things.
Yeah.
Like as far as I've heard, like gamers don't make as much as they used to.
Yeah, like nothing. $2, 1,000, if that, on ads. But but I think as content creators, we shouldn't even be depending on AdSense to make money. I think authenticity, like the ones that grow, the YouTube channels that grow, are the ones that are being their most authentic self. They don't care if they curse.
Right.
They don't care if they're demonetized, because they make
Right.
their money from a whole bunch of other ways, right? I guess they got merch or whatever the case may be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
Yeah.
after the adpocalypse, like AdSense is like nothing now, unless you're a
Oh
finance channel.
yeah. It would. I've heard like horror stories of them. Like they would make a living out of it, down to like they're making only a couple hundred a month, now
Yeah.
a couple thousands.
Their whole
Yeah, it's
whole income overnight gone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You shouldn't rely on just one source of income stream. And that's what I mean. The whole I need a stable income. If I can leverage it and take that risk, and I see that I can pay off my expenses with my side gig,
Yeah.
then I jump ship. Yeah, that's what
So
I
if
do.
you could pay off your expenses with your side gig, so that's for you, is where you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do this now. Like I'm gonna go full time into YouTube if it can pay off your expenses. Like let's say you're just breaking even. Like you know what I mean?
You're just breaking
You're
even.
just breaking
That's
even.
what I've asked myself like that question before. And the thing is like I've taken a lot of risks in the past. It's like as long as I could save a couple thousand just for those rainy days.
A couple. Oh, total.
I'm not joking. Yeah. Because the thing is like prior to going to Asia for half a year, right? Like there were times where, things happened unexpectedly. Let's say my laptop got damaged, $500. My car engine blew when it came back, right? Yeah. And it just so happened that Subaru was fine with replacing it for free. But that was after a couple of calls. Things can happen. You'll never know, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to have a couple thousands just in case. And again, me quitting my job in the middle of COVID and going a whole year without a job, without my savings, like I wasn't dipping into my savings, but I had money saved up.
Right.
In general. So it's like if I didn't have that cushion, I would have been
wiped out financially. Yeah.
So as long as I save enough for a couple months, just for that, just in case cushion.
Yeah, just in case.
Then sure, go right ahead. I'll go right ahead and do that.
So
all about that safety net.
Yeah, dude. I think you definitely want to have a emergency fund saved up for sure.
Right.
But but you're not against taking the risk. If all the pieces were in place, you're like, but the earlier you start, the riskier it gets. The riskier it is, right?
Yeah. At least to me, that's what I think. But like again, that's part of being an entrepreneur in general, right? Like taking risks and stuff, and like it just depends. Like, can you I guess like minimize the risk?
Yeah. Can you handle the risk?
I like to call them like calculated risk, I guess.
Okay, I'm just gonna adjusting this. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Yeah, because I think this mic is turned too far.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of risk. But so all it would take for you is like maybe a year, 2 years at your current job. You save up a decent chunk for your emergency fund, and then you're still uploading this whole entire time, right? Maybe you've grown a little bit, but suddenly that's what I meant. Like obviously you're going to be just starting. Congrats, by the way, if I didn't say it yet. Starting soon, but so obviously it would not make sense to just quit all of a sudden and be like, no, I'm doing YouTube, forget you.
Yeah.
But,
no, I thought about that like even before meeting you actually, because in middle school when I made YouTube videos, again I started off with making martial arts videos and dance videos, and I was like, no, they ain't. It's not like, I'm not saying it's not for me, but I didn't see the long term in it. And then not until high school I started posting random tutorials. Like I used to have super long hair and stuff. The Asian cut, the Asian mullet, and some sides are long. That's long. So I made those tutorials, and I attracted, and this was back in the day when YouTube was like, to be quite honest, a lot of the Asians dominated for the first like top YouTubers and stuff, and nowadays it's died down. But back then it was like Asian hair tutorial and stuff like that, and the audience, my audience were pretty much the Asian teeny bopper, yeah, super Asian, and
Yeah.
I mean it is what it is. And the thing was that was my audience back then, and I did dance videos on the side, and there was that overlap. Those people were like,
Yeah. The people who are into
those
the
people are
Asian
also into dance,
hairstyles
so
also into b-boying. You know what I mean?
yeah. So there was like a mix of things, and then that's when I also started my Fish channel. I actually have a Fish channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I started back in high school, and got a couple hundred subscribers, and people were like engaged. And then I stopped. I stopped posting
Mm-hmm.
completely, cold turkey. Didn't post at all. I have to start that back up. So it's like that too, right? Where I think about like the reason why I stopped for one, I deleted my own my old channel with my dance and stuff like that. Personal reasons, I ended up deleting it.
I need to start fresh.
And start fresh. I'm kind of sad because some of the videos I didn't save properly, or it was like wiped off my old hard drive.
No.
I do have some of them. I do have some. I'll probably bring it up in the next few videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is quite interesting because I'm like, hey,
Right.
back in high school, I was like, I don't see a career in youth. Like I do, but then it's like, you live at home, and your parents be telling you, hey, what do you think? Like YouTube wasn't even that. It was big back then, but it wasn't as big as it is now, and people are starting to see like, oh yeah, you know what, YouTube you can make money. There's my parents. Sorry, if you guys didn't know, the reason how our parents met is through like refugee camp, right?
Very true. I
Yeah,
believe that is the
Vietnam
case.
refugee.
Refugee
Yeah,
camp
so
back when they're boated over here.
yeah. So that's how they met and thing. And my parents have been watching a lot of those videos on YouTube, right? The Vietnam videos, and they're like, "Oh, these YouTubers are so famous. They're making X amount of money. Why didn't you do YouTube full time?" I'm like, "You told me not to. It was a waste of time." So I'm not trying to blame them.
Yes.
But the thing is, like,
But they don't realize.
don't let other people sway you. Yeah, because the thing is, like, it came from in a place of ignorance, right? They didn't see the potential in it. And you look at Tesla, you look at Microsoft, etc. Like, those are like your generic, your generic examples. But yeah, like I feel back then I was like, God, you know what? I didn't really see a full time thing. I was in school. I was stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, different parts
now,
in life as well. It's at that point when when you're still young, you're just kind of trying stuff out, right? I think it's very hard to make a living off of this is my life at 16 years old.
It's tough,
but now I think it's evolved to a spot where we understand that maybe vlogging isn't for us, and I think ultimately both of us went into making videos and content. It all is to save memories, right? Or
that's basically it. Yeah.
Because we're sentimental MFs.
As you get older, it's even more important,
Yeah, exactly. And I really like that piece because when you look at those videos from 2007, and you're just like, that was me, dude. Cringe,
like
but
potato quality video and
but it didn't matter back then. It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It was still fun to watch.
It was all about the content.
Yeah.
So,
I want to kind of re-spark that.
Exactly. Because the thing is, like, you were the reason why, like, you posted YouTube videos and you're like, hey man, you say you're gonna make content. Where the content at? And I'm like, I've been using the T5i. I'm like, you know what? That's excuses. I'm gonna get good lighting. It's not gonna cost a lot. It's $100. Get some light on.
Exactly.
It made it. It's day and night, literally day and night in terms of quality. Because I remember making YouTube videos with the T5i, and I didn't know anything about lighting. I didn't know anything about ISOs and stuff like that. And it was just I didn't have enough light, and the video looked like pixelated stuff.
Right. Well, see, I mean, if you look at the guy next to you, dude, like who doesn't actually even have a camera, and they're using a legit potato to record everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You suddenly look like you're in a spot where you are able to record good videos, right? But we just
it's no excuse.
feel that imposter syndrome.
Like,
can I really do it? Am I just a fraud? Maybe I need more stuff in order to make my operation look legit.
Yeah. For me, it was kind of like you go down the rabbit hole of I need more equipment, but then I'm like, hey, you have this, you have your smartphone where things are being recorded at 1080, 4K. Like, what excuse do I have?
Right.
What a useful I have
Dude,
money,
what's your number at? How much money, if you don't mind sharing, that you've spent on camera gear so far in lifetime, like or just say the last like 5 years?
Hold on, let me pull up my Excel sheet.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to be super. You keep an Excel sheet. I don't even track. I have a problem.
Oh, I need to track. The thing is, like, sometimes like I overestimate or really underestimate. Like recently, right, from
Like
A7
everything. I'm talking like lighting. I'm talking camera, lenses.
Okay, yeah. So, should I also include the ones I sold?
Oh, I
right.
mean,
You know what I mean?
I guess if you got money back for it because you sold it, I would deduct that. I guess
you would deduct that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So T5i lens.
Because you could have not sold it, and you could have kept it 2-camera setup.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So about 6 grand, 5 to 6 grand, right?
CAD.
The thing is like, yeah, I would say 5 to 6 grand. I could be wrong. No more than 5 grand for sure though.
Yeah, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, last 5 years. The thing is like I've been trying to cheap out. The thing is like you don't necessarily need the most expensive thing. Like I've stuck with like sliders, and the slider I got was from Newer. You know, your budget slider.
This freaking slider right here.
Yeah.
I was just like this manual slider. I never freaking used this thing.
I mean, yeah.
This is a trap.
I used it for my the monitor mount job.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, really?
It for like the sliding back. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I use it for car videos.
Yeah. Wait, you just
gotta go close to the
put
rim,
this on the floor, and then you just like kind of put your ball head on there and just go in?
Yeah. I mean, I do use that. The one I have is like much longer, so it's a bit clunky because sometimes I set it on the table and then one end is like on the tripod or whatever platform I have, and I spend money on that. I spend money on a cheap what do you call those stabilizers, but it's like handheld and there's weights at the bottom.
Oh, the Steadicam.
Steadicam, like the cheap one. The thing is like I look at the purpose of it. It's like, is there a lot of tech involved? Like, no. What purpose is it serving? Like, well, it keeps your camera stable.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh,
It's have to be expensive.
okay, right? You're back. Sorry, you just froze for a second.
Oh.
Yes, Steadicam keeps your camera stable. What purpose does it have? That's where I lost you.
Yeah. So it's like, what purpose does it have? Like, will the cheap alternative work just as well? Like, are you paying the amount you're paying for that bigger company? Is it that much of a difference, for example?
Yeah.
Right. So I spent most of my camera on lenses, for example. Like, like I have my 100 millimeter Canon L lens that I still use to this day.
Yeah. Did you adapt that onto your Sony?
Yeah, I got a. I don't have it here. Okay. But basically, it's an MC11 adapter.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm kind of done today.
It's okay, me too, dude. I haven't slept yet.
Hopefully you guys can see it, but MC11 adapter, and it works great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use that lens for fish photography, and I have a flash setup as well.
Yeah.
I do flash photography for fish. Then I bought that receiver and stuff like that. So it's like really what you need to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like there's always budget options, and I see people like make incredible videos with just like very, very little equipment. You know, you could just make your own sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I think that really should be more of the challenge nowadays instead of just defaulting to buying gear. I myself, dude, I've spent like probably, I would say close to like $7,000 US, like on everything. Like,
yeah, my pricing is Canadian, by the way.
Yeah. So that'd be like, I'm guessing like 8 or 9 racks Canadian, maybe 10. Like,
that's a car, dude.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I know. I traded a car, like wheels, to get me places for camera lenses.
Oh my goodness, how many lenses are you currently using?
So actually, though, I recently I have an 85 1.8. This one was like I got it for 500 US. I got the 28 to 75 from Tamron. 2.8.
Right.
That one was the big kahuna, but that even then it's like a budget option compared to like the G Master.
Right.
And then the last lens I have is actually this one. I really like these lenses.
Yeah.
This one's a 45 1/8. So because like the Sony 50 mil sucks, right? It's noisy. It extends out of the tube, like, and I can't afford a 55 1/8. That thing's like a rack.
Right.
And then what is the alternative? That's it, right? 50 millimeter 1/8, and then the 55 1/8.
I think they have a 55 1/8.
But then this one's a 45 from Samyang for like I think about the same price.
I've seen the review. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're also making a 35 1/8, which is almost the same as the Sony one.
Right.
Has a little bit of chromatic
competitive.
aberration. Yeah, but super competitive. These are Korean lenses. I'm like, I trust. They're good. And they're So I actually recommend it. I really want the 35 1/8 just because I really like the 35 mil for like just everything, carry around.
Right.
And they're weather sealed. Not this one, but the other two.
Oh, true. Yes. That was a factor for me too, because right now I have the Zeiss. Zeiss 24. Is it 24, 25? I forgot.
25 f2? Question mark.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a gearhead with a problem.
Yeah. I forget numbers. I'm not good with numbers, and I was debating between the Zeiss and the G Master. I think I messaged you about it. I was like, it's $500 more. By the way, I buy all my lenses used. I never buy them new.
Yeah.
It saved me thousands of dollars.
The
Zeiss one I got for very cheap. I got like literally half off. The guy he was a pro photographer. He was like, I'm willing to travel an hour down to your city just to sell to you because nobody in my city wants it.
Dang.
So, and the economy isn't the best, right? So I'm like, I'll take it. And then I sold my Sigma 18 to 35 for like, I think $850, I think it was. And
that's a good lens though. The Sigma 18 to 35.
Yeah.
Is that?
And I could have used the MC
1/8, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a 1/8. It's a great lens, and I've tested it on the A7 III, but I was like, I could get like full frame,
full frame glass.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of the vignetting. I mean, like, I could get something of equivalent for that, for the $850 kind of deal. So.
It's always true. Whatever money you could save, put it towards something else. You got to be very resourceful. I guess so. Ultimately, with video making, do you plan to where do you see yourself doing this? Do you see yourself still making YouTube, or do you want to do something else within the next 5 years?
I just started, right?
So, you just started. So the sky's the limit right now. I want us to look back on this 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And then to see what it's like. The
thing is I'm really trying to push making content. I feel like during high school when I deleted that one account that was going strong, I was getting like a few thousand subscribers. I was like, crap, this is back then 1,000 subscribers was amazing. 2,000 was even more amazing. So it's like, man, it's so funny because people in the mall started recognizing me. Like, hey, aren't you a so and so? I'm like, what the heck?
Too much.
It's kind of weird. I was like, what? And then people message, hey, I saw you at the mall, or I saw you. I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
Through YouTube, and I feel like, let's hypothetically say it's going well and people are watching, and I'm still enjoying I'll probably stay.
Yeah.
As long as I can, because like you said, people always change their content and they always kind of reinvent themselves. I mean, just even products in general, right? Like there's always that lifetime, life cycle of a product, and not unless if you kind of rebrand yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always try to learn, always try to provide my viewers new experiences.
Yeah, you don't want to be making the same content 3 years down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to evolve with yourself as a person, and whatever. Not just what's trending either. It's just what are you into? If there's nothing wrong if you want to be tooting the same horn 3 years ago, but maybe toot the same horn with a twist.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that's a good point. Like when I deleted the account, another reason was I was awkward in front of camera.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
like,
we still
man, I'm
are.
not content. Yeah, I was like, but I was even more awkward. The thing was, like, I was talking to, I did a lot of collaborations and stuff on YouTube with other YouTubers back
Yeah.
then.
Oh, did you
They
really? I
weren't
didn't
like
know this
super.
about you.
Oh yeah, you didn't. I didn't tell you, huh?
Yeah, no. How many
We
collabs
did
did you? Or
random.
like, yeah. So these collabs,
Oh,
how many did you do?
more than five for
More than
sure. Like
five.
these small. Yeah. I did like the thing is like they're no longer making videos, so we're still friends on Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff. We still talk about the old days. Like, hey, remember those old days when we made YouTube videos? And it's basically this group of Asians, right? And that's
Yeah.
just how it was, right? That was the demographic. And to me, I was like, man, there's got to be more than like more in YouTube than just making these these Asian centered videos. I want to expand. I want to I understand the whole niche thing, right? But to me, I was kind of awkward in front of camera. I was never happy with the content I was releasing.
Yeah.
That's all I mean.
I mean, there are whole entire YouTubers now that's built their whole platform off of this. And I was just gonna lie, like, Fung Bros is the first one that comes to mind. They just talk about the Asian identity, and I'm just
Right.
like,
I mean, that's cool enough.
yeah, it's cool.
But
I just
not-
that's just
not
not
for
for
me.
me. Yeah, like exactly what you said.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not for us.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, I did watch them before, right? And you look at Wong Fu, for example. That's
Yeah.
basically what they do. But then it's like it's not very like uh, some of their stories aren't like gauged towards just Asians,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Like, it had been a story that it just so happens like yeah they're trying to represent like what I like about like Wong Fu, for example, like they represent the Asian community. At the same time, they're not just saying only Asians can
Yeah.
watch this.
They're not. They're repping the community, but they're
Yeah.
not flexing the community. Like, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
all they're
yeah,
known
yeah.
for. They're there.
Yeah.
Their storytelling speaks for themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
But they're just not.
that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
I feel you, dude. Like, fuck it. Like, I really do like Wong Fu for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I think in the future, it's gonna be crazy where this all goes.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think? What do you think? Do you see yourself in 5 years?
Dude, honestly, I do think that going online's the way. If COVID's taught me anything, like, this is the way it's going, right? It's either you
This is
keep
the
working
time.
for somebody else, or you work really hard, you take risks while you're young, and try to make something for yourself, right?
Right.
Not by yourself,
Right.
but like for yourself. And
Right.
I've seen this in YouTube is so young that nobody really understands, but like I think there are people who will watch anything, and YouTube is becoming the new TV, right?
Right.
Used to be,
No, I agree.
yeah, you come home from work, you turn on the TV, you plop your butt down, you sit there for 4 hours, eat dinner, go to sleep. But now people are
Yeah.
doing that, but with YouTube, right?
Right.
Kids especially. I'm not saying go make content for kids, but like that's
Yeah.
where they don't have toys anymore. They just are given an
Right.
iPad at like 6 years old.
They're just consuming that media.
And I think that's exactly where it goes. And even, all right, but on the business end, right? Companies need much, much more content nowadays than they're ever going to need before. Recently, I started, I actually have a part-time engagement with a marketing agency, and what
Cool.
they're really big on is writing, right? Because they run blogs, they're consulting, they consult with other companies, they consult with other agencies, and
Yeah.
the biggest thing is they're on writing. And I actually picked up this book based on one of the recommendations is called Everybody Writes by
Ooh.
Anne Hadley or Hanley.
Yeah.
Your guide to creating ridiculously good content, but like anybody can really write, right? And if you, a lot of people think they're just born with it, just like how somebody's good at math.
Right.
But it's not true. It's something that you practice. It's
exactly.
something you do every day as a habit. And
Yeah.
there's so much content out there. You really have to make sure your content is good.
Right.
And eventually, I see this evolving into video, right? It's all the same. You still have to
Yeah.
like write your ideas down and like,
Right.
really organize them for them to be well understood.
Right.
If you just kind of blurt them out, which is what I'm doing right now with every video, I just let's turn on the camera, go, and then
Hey, some people do well in that. For me, I need to plan it because
yeah.
yeah.
In order to make it sustainable, you have to plan it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if you don't think and get your thoughts down, yes, some people can just wing it, and they're just gifted.
Yeah.
But their skill, their talent will only carry them so far.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think this is where the hard work comes in. I actually do
Yeah.
recommend this book if you're looking for a book on like content writing and stuff. Like it's more than just writing blogs. They're saying like in this book, if you are, if you have a website, you're a publisher. If you use social media, you're a marketer, right?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter what kind of stuff you put out there. If it's a tweet, you're a writer. But if you do it every day, it's the same thing. It's like flexing a muscle.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah.
But
because
yeah.
Growing up, I was never like I really loved writing.
Yeah.
The English teachers were like, "Yeah, you're kind of crappy, like you're not the greatest writer, but you enjoy it, cool, but you're not that great." And until
same, dude.
Yeah, until recently, right? I guess for the past few years, writing content often and doing it for companies, doing it for websites and stuff, like it's gotten a lot better. So yeah, it's always a skill you could improve, like language skills in general. I mean, hell, guys, like if you guys are probably not aware, but Sebastian is the reason why I went to Taiwan to learn Mandarin, right? Like part of the reason of like when I first met him, I think it was like that first time I met you.
Yes.
Right. And the first time I met him, his parents were like, "Oh yeah, he went to Taiwan to learn Mandarin, right?"
Yeah.
Did you already go at that time? I think.
Yeah, I already came back.
Yeah. So he already came back and he was speaking Mandarin, and you know how like Asian parties and you'd be talking about your son or daughter. He's like, "Yeah, Sebastian went to Taiwan to learn Mandarin. Why can't you do that?" You know, like comparing, and I'm like,
that is the bane of my existence, dude.
Sebastian went to Taiwan. I was like, "Oh well, my parents want to flex. I guess I gotta go." I'm kidding. No, I always wanted to do that. And I was like, you know what? I think I was 24, 25, older. I might as well just go. Like I don't have kids. I don't have a house. Like I live with my parents. Still do.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Why not?
I'm like, just do it, because I always thought about, hey, like, what happens when I have kids? Can I teach them language, like the mother tongue of Cantonese, for example?
Yeah.
Like, sure, perhaps conversational level, sure, but I'm not as good as Sebastian. Have you heard Sebastian speak Cantonese? I'm just this guy.
I think I'm garbage, dude. I took a small
if
trip
you're garbage,
to Hong Kong.
I'm like, here.
Dude, it's there. Like I don't know how to gauge myself either, because like I think conversationally we aight, right? But if we went to Hong Kong and like we tried to speak, they would instantly pick us up, be like, you're not from here. Which kind of we all have the Vietnamese accent, like Vietnamese Canto accent.
Oh my god, I get that so much from people that like, oh, you have a Cantonese accent. I'm like, I don't think so.
You're like, huh?
And then when I went to Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
I was having sushi with some of my friends, and I met this guy sitting next to me. He's from China, from Guangdong, right?
Yeah.
And I started speaking Cantonese to him, and I'm like, "Do you hear an accent from me?" He's like, "No, you speak like me." I was like, "Ah."
Because
and then I realized, like, I'm like, is it a China Guangdong accent versus like a Hong Kong accent? Because they do have like slight. I guess in Cantonese, the direct translation is like a lazy tone or a lazy accent kind of thing. So I'm not trying to roast you Hong Kong people, but accent's slightly different.
I think we just need to stop judging ourselves. We could speak it. You know what I mean? If we can communicate.
Yeah, we can speak. We can have conversations.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
but they do speak in a different type.
I don't know how to read.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But do you think ultimately your trip to Taiwan did help that though? You learned the traditional writing system.
That was life changing. I like. Okay, like when you went, you already kind of knew Mandarin. No?
Yeah, I took it in uni for like a couple semesters.
Yeah.
But it was like not high level. You know what I mean? It was like you and I both speak Cantonese, so taking it at uni is like straight A's every semester. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, I was walking in with I know zero.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is like ni hao and all that stuff, right?
Right.
That's about it. I didn't even know how to count properly, right? The thing was like, first of all, it was a debate, right, with my parents. My mom was like, all for Taiwan,
Yes.
I love Taiwan. my dad, coming from technically from China, I was like, nah, Beijing accent, the bad sounds bad. I was like, I don't really
Really?
care.
I didn't know that dynamic was in your family.
Oh, yeah. Like, see, my dad was, he's a very prideful. If you guys don't know, you know, Mandarin and Cantonese is like those are the two main dialects, like they say. But there's other like languages or dialects. There's like cross. Like there's so many different like Chinese
Dialects,
dialects.
right? There's like 40 something. I
As
don't
some would
even
say.
know.
So yeah, my dad's side is from Tiu Chao, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like Tiu Chao people, and they're very prideful. And that's what they're known
Right.
for. And where my mom is like, yeah, I don't care what you do, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Man.
She's a little
You do
more
whatever you want.
open-minded and be like, nah, whatever you want.
Yeah. But it's kind of like. But my dad, at the end of the day, was like, whatever.
Oh.
So I just prefer if you go to Beijing, but if not, then whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to Taiwan. Like every time I hear anybody go to China, there's some sort of complaining involved.
Yeah.
Something bad. Everybody
yeah.
that went to Taiwan never heard anything.
Right. I think there's a difference in definitely culture as well. There's a
Yes.
much bigger culture shock, whereas I think like Taiwan is already adjusted to Western culture. They're very welcoming. They're used to having a lot of foreigners there, not just Westerners.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, well, like it's not even one country. I'm not even gonna get to the politics. It's just
Right, no
am I
politics.
gonna be used to it?
Mm-hmm.
No politics. It's like, am I gonna be used to that lifestyle? Am I gonna be okay? I had reasons to go to Taiwan, for example, because prior to quitting that company that I worked for a year for the monitor maps and stuff, our distributors are actually from Taiwan and stuff too, right? So he's like, oh, you visit the office there. I'm like, all right, cool. How more reasons to go?
Yeah.
So I went there and I felt, I'm telling you, life changing. Just I could have a decent conversation in Mandarin
Mm-hmm.
within like 2 months. And I'm like,
that's insane.
I can learn so
From-
much in
from
2
zero?
months. What the? Yeah, from zero, literally zero. I went there not knowing anything. All I had to use was Google Translate for the first month.
Right.
Yeah.
And for people listening, Cantonese and Mandarin, while they're both Chinese, they're if you put two people in the same room and they would and try to have them speak to each other, they would not understand each other.
Yeah.
If you try,
very little.
Yeah.
More often than not, I think.
If they write, maybe.
speakers would understand a bit more.
But yeah. But yeah, so 1 month of Google Translate and then you're off to the races. You can like communicate comfortably without it.
Yeah, like there are some complex words that I didn't use. Otherwise, like I didn't have to use it as often, right?
Right.
And
but you're still able to like, get to what like you were okay navigating by yourself, getting what you need, going to where you need to go, right? 2 months. That's very impressive, I think, from zero especially.
2 months. By the third month, I was like, all right, I think I'm okay. I'll learn on my own, kind of deal. To be quite honest, I haven't been studying since I left.
Dude, me neither. It's all gone.
Different priorities. I still have like the new book and stuff.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, I gotta go back. Gotta go study. I still keep in contact with all my friends that I met in Taiwan.
All right. So actually, something now. So it's just interesting how you said that I kind of, I guess, led you into your Taiwan trip. Obviously, you had your other reasons for going as well. You were always interested. Yeah.
I was always interested. You were pretty much the catalyst.
Right.
Right.
But now you're becoming the catalyst for me, right? Because you went post-uni, right?
Full circle for everyone, right?
It is. But like, I was like, I didn't even think it was possible, like, to go post-uni, right?
Okay.
Obviously you can. It's just I just didn't know that was an option. So I that's why I went while I was still in uni, because I was like, oh, I need to do this now. Like, I don't know when else I'll do this. But now I knew that it's an option. I'm actually like kind of thinking like 5 years down the line, kind of going back to that plan. I want to study abroad in an intensive language school in Japan, knowing zero.
I was thinking that too.
Do you want to go together?
I was asking my girlfriend. Right?
Same.
I was like, hey, would you kill me if I moved to Japan, for example? Like, not Tokyo, but like a little bit out there, a little bit like, and she's like, hey, as long as I can find a job, I don't mind, right? And then, to be quite honest, I have to think about my mom as well.
Right. I mean, it's not long term. You're not staying there for years.
But that's the thing. It's not long term. And, but yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, from zero And it's like, yeah, if you stay there for 3 months, that's like still good enough too. If you could still
Right.
do it, if you have that money, go ahead.
So that's my biggest concern with like going to Japan, right? I think you and I also have very similar interests. Like we want to do this, we want to go to Japan too.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, babe, are you starting your meeting at 11? Okay, she can't hear me. Never mind. Okay, so going to Japan, dude. So I want to be, like you picked up Chinese in 2 months. I think we could pick up Japanese in like 1 semester, 2 semesters, right? But I don't want to go there with zero knowledge. I don't want to learn just like off of my app and ask for directions. Yes, I can pronounce the words, but I won't be comfortable. And I have a feeling that neither will they. Like I feel like if you go to Tokyo, different story. But if you're like in a further out part of Japan where there's not many foreigners that go there, if you don't speak Japanese, they're gonna hesitate. Like, ooh, I don't know how to help him. They want to help 100%. You. They're not hostile, but like they'll be uncomfortable in helping you.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to them.
No, I agree. It's like you come to their country, the least you can do is try to learn a few words here and there before you. That's how I felt while I was in Taiwan. I'm like, crap.
But don't you feel like it was better that you did though?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets, right?
Because it really just pushed me.
Yeah, because when you go and travel around, you're more comfortable, right? You're able to, you get the sense of confidence. So dude. So if you're serious about going, dude, I'm like kind of half serious. We both talked to our significant others about this. Like it obviously is still very early stages. We need to raise up the capital to do this, but I've actually looked it up. So if you want to stay in a dorm, it's $6,700 US for 1 semester. Okay. So how much would that be? Like I'm guessing like 8K Canadian, like 8.5K.
Let's see here. So 6,700.
Yeah.
The max about like the max is about like 9.6K.
Yeah. So and I'm assuming you obviously got to pay for your own plane ticket, get your living expenses, and then but that includes a dorm and the classes for 3 months. So the dorm, I think, is like a single unit. You get your own kitchen, your own refrigerator, your own bathroom.
Right.
So I'm just like, dude, I would love to be classmates with you. And
that would be so cool.
Yeah, just do this. We'd both be, out there with our cameras, just doing stuff in Japan. I'd be like, oh, that'd be so fun. But yeah, we'll talk more about this. Huh?
Is it 3 months?
I think so.
3 months?
Yeah, because they have they have quarters. So they'll do like you can either choose to go during like fall, spring, and winter quarter, and then they have summer quarters its own thing, but same price.
Yeah.
But 3 months.
In general, I'll tell you this though, I would be down only if I could, what do you call it? Work remotely. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the issue.
So that's my master plan, right? They're willing to accept students up to 32 years old, right? Or 35 years old. And some places even go longer than that. And some of the best schools I've looked at like are averaging like $7,000 or less for a semester. And the one I'm looking at is based in Shinjuku, right? And they have like a 7-floor building, and the top is like a rooftop Japanese garden. Like it's a sick building. And I'm like, ooh, 6,700 and a dorm, and you could do homestay too if you want, but it just sounds like a blast. But to go back to your thing. Money. What are you gonna do for a living? Obviously, it's not feasible for us, right? We're still very early in our careers to just quit. Yeah. And then just like do it.
I'm starting Monday. I'm not about to quit.
Right. I don't plan to go like within the next year or two. Like I also think I need to build up something.
Have time.
Mm-hmm. But I want to try to go before I'm 30. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Yeah, like I think so. Like that's my time horizon. Like because I think we're both like getting to that point where there's more pressure for us to think about our futures. Right? We're not 18 anymore. We can't just do whatever we want. Right? Which is sucks so much because we're 18. We couldn't do what we want even if we wanted to.
Yeah. We didn't have that money.
Couldn't take a gap year.
Like, yeah. Some of my friends who are in their 30s, they're like, "Hey, 30 is like a funny time because it's like you have the disposable income and you're not like, I mean, I guess if you're not married, it's great. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of freedom, you're not tied down kind of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, to some
But then
people.
there's also pressure from your parents. You know what I mean? To
Right.
do something soon. You know what I mean by do something.
Oh, so like, yeah, no, you don't have to answer this, right? Like, do you plan to in general get married before you're 30 or like after?
um,
You know what I mean? Because my parents are pressuring me, like,
so I've been blessed with no pressure so far. But as far as like, I'm not gonna like put a year on it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's
right,
going to happen, around that time, I'm guessing, right?
right,
I think I do put pressure on myself to kind of figure that out soon, right? Because otherwise, I don't
right.
think it's fair for both parties
Yeah,
in this.
100%.
But yeah, I would guess around that time, which is probably why I have Japan on like before 30.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But even it's like a year. It's a year. You know what I mean? Not even a year.
yeah,
It could be. It's honestly just 6 months. Because my ultimate goal would be like go there, take Japanese for a semester, be comfortable, just be
hmm,
confident, right? And then
right.
spend like a month, maybe two max. Probably not two, but like I think a month of traveling is a lot of traveling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so like maybe just a month of traveling after this program's over, and then just bounce back. That's like honestly less than 5 months. Not even
yeah. It's
half
the
a
same
year.
deal with. No, no, no. That's the same deal as when I went to the Asia trip, right?
Yeah.
Went to
Would you do it
Taiwan
again? I
first.
mean, like now, not back then. Like not if you had to do it over, but if you had to do a similar experience again.
Similar experience, but not the same one.
Yeah, but basically go to Japan for 5 months and then come back.
Yeah, I thought about it. I've always thought about it because I was like, man, that was life changing.
Yeah, I
I
want more
met
life
I met a
changing
lot
stuff
of
to happen
people.
to me.
Yeah, it's like the world is like huge, and being cooped up. I mean, look at you. Like you move different states, right? Is that right?
Yes, I
Or you moved
relocated
around and
from
stuff.
Minnesota to Seattle.
Yeah. So I mean, even that, right? That's a different experience, right? Like if
Hmm.
I were to travel 2 hours away from here to a different city, that's also a different experience. So
Yeah.
like to kind of immerse yourself in another like community, a different culture is just something like I really value.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would definitely be down for that. But I mean, you've seen my Vietnam vlog. I think if I was to go back to Vietnam, for example,
Yeah.
I want to go like with friends and not with family. It's just that whole different experience of
Yeah. I'm
being
scared.
babied.
I'm scared to go to Vietnam, to be honest.
What is that? You've
Like,
been right?
I've been a few times. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I don't know anything. Like the language. I have family there, so I definitely, that's always I feel like there's always familial obligations if you go to a country where your family's at, you have to go. You cannot just
Yeah.
go there and not say hi to them. That's rude. You know what I mean?
100%.
Our parents taught us better
100%.
than that.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah.
beyond that, like I think there's part of it's like that, and then the other thing is like, okay, now that you're there, like, do you know how to drive a moped, Steven?
Hey, you know what's funny is it doesn't even matter if you have a license.
I know. If you got money, it doesn't matter, dude.
No, I actually drove one when I was I think I was 11 in Vietnam.
Really?
Yeah.
GTA?
It was super illegal, but hey, back in '06,
Yeah.
right? It was at one of my aunt's house, and she had like a huge
You didn't choose the
front
thug
yard or
life, dude.
whatever.
The thug life chose you.
Yeah, dude, I almost died, but that was fun.
Yeah. So I mean, like stuff like
Anyways,
that,
but
driving, language,
yeah.
knowing where to go. Like, we can go back to
Well,
Da Nang
that's
again. That's a nice place, but
that's
I feel like we'd be
nice.
skamazed if we leave the resort.
Yeah, I mean, there's different wards. I think they call it like Q1, Q2, or whatever like that, like different sections of
Yeah, yeah.
Vietnam. And I know that the Ward 1 or Q1 is like pretty much all foreigners in there. And
Hmm.
I went there once, and the nightlife is crazy. Like people would be. Now I didn't mention this in my video, but like people party. There's like escorts, and
Yeah.
there's hotels. But it's like almost like a red light district,
Yeah.
and you see people. It's very normal to them. I don't know if you've seen it, but they inhale this gas in a balloon, and it gets them like lightheaded and high.
Uh huh.
Pretty much. I was like, that's very interesting. I was like, okay, I didn't do it, but
Yeah.
I was just walking.
Good on that,
And then
fam.
you see a bunch of foreigners.
Yeah.
But
So
the experience there
yeah,
is very different from
what do you get from
smaller
your family?
seats.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, wow, if I were to come here with friends, and my oldest cousin in Vietnam was like, hey, next time you come, I know you will come by to say hi, but try to go with friends. I know, like you're kind of cooped. Like he knows.
Yeah, he knows what it's like.
How I feel, right? Like I went there alone.
Yeah.
Right. And
your experience was my fear. But
yeah, so.
But still, it's always great to see family. But like, if you may not, you're not that you didn't like spending time with your family, but sometimes you just there by not because you just have limited options, right? You can't just hop into a taxi and go wherever you want because you could get lost. Like you legit get lost.
100%. Like to be quite honest, right? Also, like when I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
it was a lot more fun going back to Vietnam because all my cousins were kids.
Yeah.
Now that they're adults and they get married quite early, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have kids now. They get married at like early 20s, mid 20s, or whatever. That's just the norm there, right? I'm not judging, but the fact of the matter is they're busy. So
mm-hmm.
it's like I feel bad because my aunts and my cousins and stuff are kind of like they need to drive me around,
right?
And
they want to take you out and show you a good time.
It was that as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going with friends and stuff is, I think, a great thing to do. And I mean, my cousins already warned me, like, specific areas. Hey, stay away from this place. You'll probably get killed. And here, you might get robbed. And
yeah, I'm scared. I would not whip out my camera, dude. Like, I'd be too scared.
Camera gear and stuff. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, someone's just gonna go whoop on the moped and then there it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally what I've seen.
Yeah.
Right.
I would give it the same warning. Don't pull your phone out. You know what I mean?
I think it's very similar to Thailand.
Yeah.
Like the infrastructure and whatnot. It's very similar.
But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll go with friends. But I think if I go to Japan, I will not. I feel completely safe. I don't even have to think. I can leave my camera on the floor. You know what I mean? I'll come back 12 hours.
Yeah. Have you been to Japan before though?
Not yet. So if I go, it'll be the first time.
Okay. I'll tell you this though. It's very similar to Taiwan in terms of like safety and everything.
I know, 100%, dude. That's where do you think it kind of came from? Like, I think Taiwan is a nice mishmash of like Chinese culture and Japanese influence, right? Like,
I mean, there's a lot of Japanese people in Taiwan too, as you know.
Yes, it's huge.
A lot of the people I met there were actually Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So many.
It's like, think about it. 7-Eleven, Family Mart, all like MRT, everything, all is inspired or influenced by Japan.
Yeah, no, their subway station is great. Here in Canada, like, no, they're still building it after, like, I don't know, 10, 20 years.
Mm-hmm. It's just too much. It's very big, very expensive. Yeah.
No advancement. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, hey, we'll talk about it, and maybe one day we'll be classmates.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think it's because next time we come up on this topic, I'm definitely gonna think of you and then ask you for sure. Be like, hey, what do you think about 2024? You know what I mean?
Right, you never know.
Yeah. There's obviously it's a long ways away, but I think it's fun. I did not realize that you would have it on your bucket list too, like something you maybe want to try doing again.
Yeah, like even just living there long term without education, as in like going there for education. I mean, it's like, oh, what if I just go there to learn Japanese, head back to Canada, wait it out a bit and see if I want to head back just to live there much longer for a couple of years.
You thought of that?
Yeah, I also thought of that. And then it's because like people there are so nice. And then things like, oh, maybe it's different because, as a tourist, you have this perception, but as someone living there, it's also like, oh, there's also a different perspective.
Right. So, I don't know, maybe a goal we could work on is to secure an income that we can do remotely, which is why I'm kind of like really looking into YouTube as a real option. If I really went serious on YouTube for like 2, 3, 4 years, could I make a legit income from it?
Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, like, I've watched a couple of YouTubers, like, they changed their name, but they're called, their name is Simon and Martinez. I think that's
I know them. Yeah. They were in Korea. Now they're Japan.
Kimchi or whatever.
Yeah.
So they went to Japan. They went to Korea and they lived there. It's like, it's very possible. And there's other YouTubers out there that live in Japan, for example, or whatever.
Right.
So
I think they've been
possible.
grinding for a long time. 8 years though.
Yeah. they work hard. So I'm like, I'm slacking, and compare. I don't like to like comparing yourself. I think there's like that healthy comparison of, oh, does it motivate you?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And then
so
there's
that's
like our
just where,
parents level.
yeah, that's a different
You should
spectrum.
do it because they did it, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's part of the reason why I went to Taiwan. It's like, yeah, this is nothing. I can just come to this country. I don't know the language, kind of thing. Kind of put myself in their shoes,
Yeah.
basically.
I'm glad it was life changing for you because I think it was for me too because you meet friends that you still keep in contact with, even though
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean. Like they're lifelong friends, even though you did not know them for a long time.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's just like you
Crazy.
don't those experiences and those relationships don't happen every day. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Damn. Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that then
yes.
later.
So actually, yeah, it's actually we've gone quite a bit over the time. I didn't know if you have something else. I didn't want to keep you too long, but maybe we
No,
can pick this up another time.
yeah.
But yeah, I think also it's about time to jet. I gotta go make some breakfast.
Yeah, me too. Well,
Sounds
like
good.
it's 2 p.m. by the way.
It's like
It's
lunch.
2 p.m. Yeah, Ali, this is I'm in Mississauga, guys. Well, close to
Yes.
Toronto, so I'm sure you guys have heard of Toronto.
Yes, yes. Do you have anything you want to plug or anything you want to let people know about before you dip? You know what I mean? Anything
But
coming up for
funny
you
you say, I plan to change my handle one day.
too?
So I mean, I'll say it right now, but it may change.
Yeah.
So just my Instagram or YouTube, the same handle of Sandpai.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Sandpai, SANDPAII.
Yes.
See what's on there.
Uh, and yeah, besides that, you can find them there. I'll put everything down below. And any last bits for anyone who is actually listening? It might just be for us, 5 years from now, who knows? But maybe if some people watch this, any advice for people who are just starting out in what we're doing? Two dudes or a dude with a camera looking for a career in marketing.
There is.
I know we've dropped a lot of knowledge bombs earlier
Yeah, we
as
dropped
well,
a lot of knowledge. Yeah, I think
but
that
like,
one thing is just, you're probably more capable than you think, and there's possibilities are endless. Keep
yeah.
striving for it. Don't settle. Like if you really, really want something,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll find a way.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Steven. Good talking to you as always.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Would you want to do this again, by the way? This I'm gonna stop this here in a minute, but would you want to do this again? I'm just gonna cut it now. But yeah, hold on. Actually,
Sure.
hold on. I'll need to say one more thing. Thank you everybody for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye. Bye. 再见.
Nice.